Okay, for this video, we're going to make the Cowcatcher. You've got a lot of different little things to do. The big learn on this one is how and when to shell. When is a good time to shell? How to do a loft, and then access new flat surfaces that were created by that loft. There'll be a little locating. You've got one home plate type shape floating above another home plate type shape. So here's my stuff. I'm going to go ahead and make things invisible. I'm going to start by drawing one home plate shape with lines. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it. It looks great. And there it is. Perfect. So now we need to dimension this thing to make it just right. So the bottom, big long distance, looking at that kind of middle left diagram, it's 1.8 inches. So that's like your biggest. Let's go ahead and throw a construction line right down the center. When it comes in, it's not construction, but if we click it, we can turn it into a construction line. Remember, that's a line that really isn't too real. We're going to go ahead and use the coincident constraint over here in your geometric constraints to lock those two things together. So that's good. Now we've got these vertical lines over here. Now this one isn't too vertical, so let's go ahead and make this one vertical. You can make it vertical by clicking on the constraint horizontal vertical. And I think it chooses whichever one it thinks you're intending to do. These little parts over here are 0.25 inches. Let's go ahead and do that. 1/4 of an inch here, and 1/4 of an inch over here. And that's looking real good, but the overall distance from the base to the very tip up here is 1 inch. So let's click the tip, click the base, come over and make it 1 inch. So there is our good bottom home plate shape. And we're feeling strong. So let's go ahead and finish the sketch and kind of look at it from an angle. What we're going to do is use an offset plane. So you turn on construct, you turn on plane. I'm going to use this plane here and just make sure that it's right here. We're going to pull this out a certain distance, and the distance is the overall height of the Cowcatcher, which is 0.75. So there you go. Now we've got a plane that's 0.75 in front of the other plane. We're going to go ahead and put a sketch right on that plane. Bam. Now if I want to kind of see my other sketch, because I'm going to draw basically right over this. So let's go ahead and repeat the process. I'm going to make a slightly smaller but very similar looking. Oh no, it's not good enough. So maybe let's start by throwing some dimensions on here. We're going to start with the big one again. So come down here. The big, that's a 1.2. And the distance from here, well, actually, let's go ahead and just do it the exact same way. We'll make a construction line going right down the middle of it. And we'll turn it to construction. Great. We'll use that coincident constraint to put the point on there. Boink. We're going to use the vertical horizontal constraint to make this one vertical. Now we're going to dimension these two little sides, and that is, yeah, it's 0.25, just like the other one. Great. That's 0.25, that's 0.25, and then what about the distance from here to here? How big is that?
No.
Excuse me, I'm doing a video right now, so thanks.
Oh, sorry.
I'm recording. How you doing? How you living? 0.75. Great. Always a good idea to be loud when you come in late for class. It's good stuff. So I'm going to use that coincident constraint again to, but this time with lines. I'm going to use this line and, well, maybe not. Can't do that. So let's just move it and see if we can get it right on there. Let's see if we can't get it right on that other line. Coincident constraint. You can't pick stuff from a different sketch. Well, that is whack. If I knew that, I would have tried to draw it more precisely right on there. If we zoom way in, we can see we're slightly off of that one. And there you have it. I feel like if we don't do it precisely, like super precisely, that we are going to have a surface over here that we want to use later that will not be cooperative with us. But let's give it a shot. So we've got these two home plate looking shapes, and we're going to loft them together now. So under Create, you'll find Loft. Click on the one, click on the other, and just loft them together. See what happens. Oh, the rail is not smooth. Try making the rail tangent continuous. The rail is not smooth. What does that mean? The rail is not smooth. Let's try it again. Because we never give up. And there we go. So if you don't succeed the first time, try again. I guess what I really want to do before I move on with this video is to try to put a sketch right on this face, which I can, so I'm good. Use the offset tool. I'm going to grab this, I'm going to drag it in and assign a distance to that. The distance is 0.1. Oh, how about negative 0.1? And finish the sketch. We're going to do the same thing on the other side real quick. Put a sketch right here. Use the offset. Pull it in. We got negative 0.1. Negative 0.1. Shwabam. Now before we cut these in, we're going to go ahead and shell at this point. This is the time you want to shell. If you shell after doing the cut-ins, it's going to be real stinky. So let's get out of the sketch. We're going to go under Create. We're going to find Shell. Where's that one hiding? It's probably under Modify. Okay, there we go. And we're going to click this bottom surface. No. We want to click this surface right here, or click this one. So Shell, this surface. Why is the arrow in that direction? I don't know. The distance of the shell is 0.1 as well. So let's go ahead and type that in, 0.1. And there you have it. You've got a shelled out Cowcatcher. I'm going to extrude cut this, and that's going to be half of that, so 0.05, sorry. 0.05, and it's not a join, it's a cut. I'm just going to make it negative 0.05. Be nice if there was a flip thing there, but negative 0.5, okay. Do the same thing on the other side. Extrude that, negative 0.05. So the Cowcatcher is mostly done at this point. We got to put 3 little schenectinozoids on the back of it. That's a technical term. You can use it in college and stuff. Schenectinozoid. So you're going to put a sketch right on the back face. You're going to draw some circles. Try not to get them to lock into any existing geometry, but just draw them in the general area. And then use dimension to locate them. Okay, let's get out of here. So let's dimension them all. This one is I'm looking at it. Looks like 0.125, and then they stick out some distance. 0.125. They stick out. Oh, they stick out 0.125. So that's a lot of eighths of an inch. So you got 0.125. Check this constraint out. It's an equal constraint. If I turn that on, I click this and I click this, they become the same thing. 0.125 is great. And now we're going to use dimensions to locate them. This one, if you look at the diagram that's in the middle, it's a 0.625 or 5/8 from the bottom. And then it's straight up centered. And that would be wow, mathematically. Let's go ahead and we'll just leave that one for the time being. We're going to dimension this one. This is looking for the dimension. It's 0.125 from the bottom. This one is also 0.125 from the bottom. And these two, the distance between them is 1.25. And the distance from here to the end point is 0.275. So just trying to find all these things. The distance from here to here is 0.625. It's saying adding this dimension will over-constrain the sketch. Well, how come? Because I got this 0.79 here, so let's delete this dimension. Delete this dimension. Get out of here. Delete. Okay. Now I can change this to 0.625 just right. Maybe. It's not letting me. So let's delete this one too, and then we'll dimension it. Okay. So from this point to this point straight up is 0.625. And from here, this one should be 0.625 as well, which it is. Just looks a little high right now, but that's fine. We're going to extrude all these out. How far, you say? Well, that's a great question. I think it's another 1/8 of an inch. It's all 1/8 of an inch on this. So extrude. Zoom in here. We got 1, 2, 3. And they're all 1/8 of an inch. And we're almost done, folks. We're just going to put a little teeny tiny chamfer on the end. That chamfer is 45 degrees, so that's an equal distance chamfer. So it's that edge, and this edge, and the distance on the equal chamfer is 0.01. So it's a very small little chamfer. And let's give a look-see. Looks groovy, looks great. 1,000,000 points, A for the day. 12 minutes. Enjoy.